In the previous section, we reviewed questions and question words, and now we are going to introduce a new topic, with and without auxiliaries. These two questions are from the previous section. Can you remember how to complete them? How long the Beatles together? For 8 years. What was the question? For how long did the Beatles stay together? For 8 years. Look at this. Is this a question with or without auxiliary? This is the kind of question you know. This is a question with auxiliary. This is the new kind of question. Can you complete it? The answer, the question is, who hips don't lie? Shakira. The question is, who sang Hips Don't Lie? This question is correct. And as you can see, there is no auxiliary. Let's look at these two questions carefully. How long did the Beatles stay together? Remember, we had a formula with question word, auxiliary, subject, and base form. And this question fits perfectly that formula. We have a question word, we have an auxiliary, we have a subject, and we have a base form. But if we look at this second question, okay, yes, we have a question word, but there is no auxiliary, there is no subject, and there is a verb, but it's not in the base form. Why? Okay, to understand why, we have two formulas. We have the typical questions we already knew, questions with auxiliary, and this is our new kind of question, questions without auxiliary. What music do you like? Which CD did he buy? Who did you go with? These are typical questions. These are the new questions. What happened after the concert? Which team won the game? Who writes their songs? These are a summary, so we're going to complete the information. Here when they say question, they mean question word. Yeah, so I made it a little larger and put question word. And the rest is all the same. Here where they say subject, what they are saying is that the question word is the subject. So we have a question word, and the question word is the subject. Here we have a question word, but the question word is not the subject because our subject is here. So the new idea is that in the new kind of questions, the question word is the subject. Why is this important? If you notice, these two charts have the same question words. What? Which? Who? I'm going to add one more. How many? How many cousins do you have? How many cousins came to the party? So now we have 4 question words. What? Which? Who? And how many? Okay, let's answer these questions. What music do you like? I like pop music. What happened after the concert? An accident happened after the concert. Which CD did he buy? He bought a Coldplay CD. Which team won the game? Chile won the game. Who did you go with? I went with my sister. Who writes their songs? Luis Jara writes their songs. How many cousins do you have? I have 12 cousins. How many cousins came to the party? 12 cousins came to the party. Here you have the answers. And is there something you can immediately notice? Notice that when I answer these questions, the information is always after the verb. After the verb, after the verb, after the verb. But when I answer this kind of question, the information is before the verb, before the verb, before the verb, before the verb. Why? Because the information I needed was the subject. This is our new kind of question. They are called questions without an auxiliary, but if you look on the internet, you will also find subject questions, because what we need is the subject. Here, we never need the subject. We know who the subject is. What we need is other information, but not the subject. So, in our new kind of question, the information to answer the question appears after the verb, and the question has a subject, so we do not need a subject. In the new kind of question, the information to answer the question appears before the verb, because we do not have a subject, and the information we need is the subject. If we look at the chart again, you will notice that for the old kind of questions, we had many question words. But for the new kind of questions, we can only use for. For exactly. How many? How many? What? Which? And who? It is impossible to make subject questions with the other question words. Let's do the first exercise. This is the first exercise from the book. We will do it step by step. If you want, you can stop the video now and try to do it individually and then correct it with the video. Here we have two options and we need to decide which is the correct option. Let's do the two options. Option number 1 is, what did you do last night? Option number 2 is, what you did do last night. In both, we have a subject. So if we have a subject, we know that the new kind of question is impossible, because in the new kind of question, we never have a subject. So this is the old kind of question, and we know the word order, so we know that what you did do last night is impossible, because the word order is question word, auxiliary, subject, base form, and more things. And a possible answer is, last night I studied psychology. Notice that this is the old kind of question, and the information I want is after the verb, psychology. Last night I studied psychology. What did you study? I studied psychology. Let's see the two questions. What happened to you? What did happen to you? Here in the first case, I don't have a subject. I have a question word, the verb, and more things. And in the second one, I have a question word, an auxiliary, but then the verb in base form. There is no subject. So this is incorrect, and the kind of question I have is a question without auxiliary. The question is, what happened to you? A miracle happened to me. Here, this is the second exercise. Let's see the two possibilities. What means this word? What does this word mean? If I look at the chart, this question follows this chart, and this question follows this chart. I cannot know by structure. Let's see the answer. This word means book. The information I want is after the verb. This is my verb, means. The answer is after the book. So, it is not the new kind, it is the old kind. And the correct question is, what does this word mean? This word means book. Let's see the two options. How many people came to this class? How many people did come to this class? If we look at the chart, we cannot know because this question follows this chart and this question. But this question doesn't follow this chart because look, auxiliary and base form, there is no subject. So So this is impossible. And my question is, how many people came to this class? 50 people came to this class. Let's see the two options. Which bus goes to the airport? Which bus does go to the airport? Aha! Here we have the same problem. Which bus goes to the airport follows this pattern. Which bus goes to the airport? And here, which bus does, but there is no subject. So this option is not possible. And the answer to which bus goes to the airport could be bus 518 goes to the airport. Here we have the two options. Which actor won the Oscar this year? Which actor did win the Oscar this year? We know that the auxiliary and the verb cannot go together. Remember, the auxiliary and the verb cannot go together. And here there is no auxiliary. So our answer to the question, which actor won the Oscar this year, is Casey Affleck won the Oscar this year. What said the teacher? What did the teacher say? In the first case, I have a question word, then a verb, but then a subject. So this kind of question does not have a subject. What did the teacher say? What did the teacher say is the correct case. The answer is the teacher said blah blah blah, and my question is, what did the teacher say? This is the second exercise, and we need to know what kind of question and what is the answer. First, let's work on what kind of question. In the first one, that is an example, they give me a verb. If they give me a verb and they don't give me a subject, I know what kind of question it is. Who said hasta la vista, baby? How many Formula One World Championships? And I have a subject and a verb. Which U.S. president the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002? I only have a verb. I don't have a subject. Who the movie The Good Father? I only have a verb. I don't have a subject. When President of South America? I have a subject and a verb. Who the Lord of the Rings? I only have a verb. I don't have a subject. What before he became a singer? I have a subject and a verb. With that information, you should be able to create the questions. Here is how you write the questions. Okay, check with your page. If you have any question, ask me in class. And the answers to these questions are right here. They are difficult questions, and they're old-fashioned questions. They are outdated. The important part was the question.